Hello, my name is Ray. Thanks for checking out the video. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and expecting a new year, which is probably going to be a shitty year. But I figured I'd end this year with a good old classic, an album that's very overlooked in the Accept catalog, and that's Breaker. Breaker is a really awesome album, and by the beginning of 1989, I did buy Breaker finally on tape cassette, and it's one of those tapes that we listened to, and it's weird back then because when you're familiar with the band enough, and then it's several years later, here's some new Accept for you, new music to you, but it's older, and I thought the album cover was pretty interesting, and I really liked it, so I'm going to be reviewing that one. Song number 1, Starlight, is very interesting. Has a little bit of a Judas Priest style to it. There's a little bit of a Judas Priest, 70s Judas Priest feel to it, that's for sure. The song Breaker has a really good riff in it, and I really like that song. It's an awesome one. Run If You Can kind of reminds me of a little bit of the Scorpions. It has a cool, like, palm muted lick in there, and also a little bit of stuff with the Wayman bar going on that note. It sounds kind of like Uli Roth-ish, kind of like. Anyways, it's an awesome song. Not sure if any of you fans of this album have noticed it before, but he mentions Demon's Night on the Deadly Demon's Night. So that was kind of interesting because it wasn't until, so many years later, whatever, I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh hey, he mentions Demon's Night, and which is a song off Restless and Wild, the next album. Song number 4, Can't Stand the Night. Can't Stand the Night is a good ballad sung by Udo, but it's not as good as Winter Dreams. But that's an album for another time, another review. Song number 5, Son of a Bitch. This is definitely one of my favorite songs. And it's not because he swears in it. It just has really cool music to it. That little trill, just the way how the song goes and the phrasing and everything. And the chorus. It's just a really cool song. And yeah, once again, I mentioned it in a couple of my other Accept videos, that it was just interesting to hear that. I heard that back in 1989, so when I'm listening to it, I was like, hey, holy cow. And I look at the date on the album, on the tape cassette that I had, and I was like, oh, I didn't think they were allowed to swear back then. But of course, it was probably recorded in Germany, and they just probably didn't care. And then, of course, by the time it came over here, it wasn't a big hit, Accept wasn't big, so it just kind of like slipped underneath the radar, I guess. But anyways, that song is cool despite the fact that it says cocksucking motherfucker, I was right, or cockfucking motherfucker, I was right.
Cocksucking motherfucker, I was right!
This is just an awesome part. I really like that part. And of course, this song is definitely a favorite amongst fans. Once again, it's not because of the swearing, it's because lyrically and phrasing wise, it's a really good song. Son of a Bitch. Burning. I'm not really sure about this one. It's kind of interesting because it sounds like a live version. And I don't have the tape cassette anymore, and it's been years since I've had it. And I believe it was probably on the cassette tape. I just never really paid attention to it. That was one of the few songs I didn't know until, years later when I throw in those tapes again or listen to them on CD, and then I really check them out and really get into them and say, okay, hey, there's something different about this. But not sure why they recorded a live version of it. Was it because they already had that, and that was from like the previous album or something, and they just happened to have that recording, and they were like, hey, this is a good live recording, let's just throw this on here instead of going through the studio and doing it. I'm not sure exactly. If any Accept fans out there know, please feel free to leave me a comment and explain why there's a live version of Burning, and I think it's the only original one, I guess. Why it's a live version on the studio album. The next song, Feelings, has a wicked cool opening riff, and for all those of you who are Accept fans and know this album, you probably recognize what I did. Nobody's mentioned in the comments yet at all. But the intro for Feelings sounds like London Leather Boys. Now, if I don't get a copyright claim, I'm going to do a little side-by-side comparison, and you'll be able to hear it. Number 8, definitely one of my favorite songs off the album, Midnight Highway. I just love it. I love the intro. The drums sound really good on this, and I like the chorus, and I just like everything about it. It has a really cool sound to it, and I just like the song. What's weird about this, or strange, like I said, when you listen back, it just sounds like late 70s, very early 80s, you know, typical hard rock stuff that was out at the time. You know, those guys all had kind of like a, I want to say similar sound, but it wasn't too aggressive or too heavy yet. It had good hard rock. You all know what I mean. Late 70s, early 80s guitar sound where it was heavy, but not too heavy. Anyways, Midnight Highway. I absolutely love that song. It's definitely one of my favorite songs off the album. Song number 9, Breaking Up Again. This one's sung by Peter Baltz, the bass player, for those of you who don't know. And it's a good ballad. He does Sea Wind. I believe it's Sea Wind off the first album. And his voice is really good. The only thing that I think what Accept should have done, of course, you know, saying that now is just odd and crazy, but they should have did it. I think this is the only regret. They should have had Peter sing some more songs, like a couple of more songs off of the next couple of albums, the next several albums, even off like he does one of them on one of the later ones, but he should have did more. And then of course they should have sang some of the songs in German. I think that really would have been a really unique, good, you know, twist to it, something a little bit different on the album. One song per album, sung in German, and then one song, you know, per album. Even in the early 90s stuff, it would have been good if Peter Baltz sang, and, you know, on a song or two. Alright, Down and Out. Down and Out's a cool rocky one. It's heavy. I like the drum sound on this one. I like that little echoing effect on there. Alright, so this was the traditional lineup. Features Wolf Hoffman, Peter Baltz on bass, Wolf Hoffman guitar, Stefan Kerfman on drums, and Udo Dirkschneider on vocals. And it featured George Fisher on guitar. I'm going to get into the George Fisher and Frank Sherman on guitar and give you a little, show you little things. It's where they kind of just switched on and off. Each one of them playing on a different album. Anyways, that's it. I will see you next year. If you watched the full video, thanks a lot for watching the full video. I do appreciate it. Leave a comment below. And I am going to be making more videos within January and February. So if anybody's wondering why I take time off, and just, yeah, because I get lazy and shit like that. It was Christmas time. I was busy. But I got some more money. I'm going to get some more tapestries. I'm going to buy some more albums. And I'm going to be doing a lot more reviews. And I'm going to be trying to add a little bit of different stuff to spruce up my channel. Possibly. Thanks for watching. See you next year. Motherfucker, I was